Hey guys, so this is the comparison you've all been waiting for. The Derette XC1100 up against the VMEG VM1000. This is the very base model VM1000. I'll get more into the various versions of this towards the end of the video. Why is it that these two need to be compared? Well, they both share a lot of similarities. They both carry the D1105 Kubota engine. They both have the exact same drive motors, which slightly different configuration in those drive motors, the Danfoss motors. And they both have Italian pumps. This one has the Hansa pump and this one has the Bondelli pump. They both come in at around that 1600 kilo mark, although we haven't actually had a chance to put them on scales, and we all know the Chinese kind of massage those weights a little bit, especially in excavators. So get into and compare these on a few different features. So we're going to do a little lift test. We're going to do a little maneuverability test. We're going to show you in the engine bays and the layout of the stations here. And then we're going to hook up a forestry mulcher and we're going to measure the RPM to show you the flow rate of each machine. It's a poor man's version of flow test, but it's the best we can do at the moment because my flow meter is still currently on order. Just get straight into it. 800 litres in here. I'll be surprised if either machine can actually pick this up. I think we're reaching the capacity. So 800 litres is 800 kilos, 850 with the crate, and then another 80 there. So we're looking around 920 kilos, is that right? I think that's about right. Maybe I need to check my maths. 2400 RPM as usual. So we already know that there's probably no way in hell this is going to curl. So we can't even get the rear off the ground because I think we're just going to end up putting the forks through the bottom of the crate. So let's lower it right down, curl them up as much as we can. And that's it, we're a goner. Look at that, 800, 900 and something kilos. Are we fucked? Hey? I think we got more in it. Yeah, it's a fucking long time. Alright, so this is a little speed test. 2400 RPM on both. 3, 2, 1, go! full RPM, right to the end. All right, full RPM, speed test. 3, 2, 1, go! All right, so there you have it. At 2400 RPM, the VMENG's a little bit quicker, but at full RPM, it's clearly a faster machine, considerably faster. Thanks. So, this is kind of a maneuverability test, and probably the responsiveness of the controls test. 2400 RPM. It's fairly responsive off the mark. So we can get in nice and close to our... We're just kissing it there. Again in forwards, it's nicely controlled. Up, we just kissed it. There's nothing wrong with the response. It's easy to tell it where we want it to be. It's good. I can actually remember the pattern there, guys, so bear with me. So this tends to be a bit more aggressive in the turns. It tends to want to turn a bit faster. So we have to be a little bit more there. So we have to take our time a little bit more. And then in reverse. I wasn't able to get as close as easily. I think the Derette has it there in manoeuvrability and precision control at the lower speeds. It definitely has a bit more finesse. the high speed of these drives does make it a little bit more difficult, and you'd need to take your time a little bit more in the tight turns when operating this guy. This is a poor man's hydraulic flow test. So basically PSI relates to knockout power, so it's the Mike Tyson of hydraulics, and your flow rate, liters per minute, is your Bruce Lee. So basically higher flow rate should equal faster rotation of your device. Not necessarily how much punch that has, but definitely RPM should relate back to here to flow. So first we're going to do 2400 RPM and then 3200 RPM, 3000 RPM, and we're going to check the rotational speed of the drum mulcher. 1632 RPM. Full bore. (2100 RPM). Only 2400 RPM. (1611). I can hear it already. (2200 RPM). Okay, so you can see, you can definitely hear it at about 2400 RPM. I don't actually have a tacho, so I've only got a mark where I use this to estimate 2400. They're about the same, but at full RPM, that's 17cc pumps coming into effect, and we're getting a little over 2200 RPM at the cutter head. Slightly higher flow. How that relates to how it cuts, again, like I said, that probably wouldn't be known till we actually field test the machines. But on a pure flow rate, the VMENG comes in slightly. Gee, that sun's brutal. G'day. All right, so wrapping up the comparison video of these two machines. As you've seen from the little tests here, the VMENG has it here in lifting test, although Derette have said that we need to adjust the relief valve, and they are sending out another valve, but regardless, we know that this guy exceeds the lifting capabilities regardless of the curl. So this one wins here. The VMENG wins on speed. I will give the Derette the agility test. It is far easier to maneuver in close around the witches' hats. I'm able to get up closer without knocking the witches' hats easily. And I think that's because of the increased speed. So this guy does take off a little bit quicker. So that's something you might want to consider. Something else that's always mentioned when we talk about the VMENG and the Derette, people are always, the commentators are saying that the VMENG is built to a higher quality. So why would they be saying that? So let's just have a quick little look around at some of the little things just to show you why. First of all is the paint. So the paint on the VMENG is like a Raptor coating. It's kind of like a textured coat. This is the first one of these to come out, and it was painted. However, Derette have upgraded their painting to in-house, and I have seen that. It's still very similar. It's a lot thicker, but it's still just a regular kind of paint versus this Raptor coating that I think will wear and last a lot longer, just similar to what you'd have in your ute. So little things too that just give you the attention to detail are The name badges everywhere are laser cut and bolted on, whether it's on the back of the hydraulic tank or the name plate, etc. And as we walk around, I'll point those out to you. Under the bonnet, there's a few little differences in here that you'll notice. So they've used stainless steel here. The quality of the exhaust jacket, this is like this is a World Rally class style exhaust jacket. I know I've priced these for a turbo car. They're outrageous. I'd hate to think about how much to replace that. The Bondelli pump. Some people claim that the Bondelli pump is far superior than the Hansa. We do know that Bondelli offer great service in the US, and I would assume the same service is available here. You can buy seals, rebuild kits, speak to a technician. It's really good service in there, and thank you to somewhere in Oklahoma for that. Our filters are easy to get at. Servicing has been thought out in advance, along with potential future repairs. This whole panel comes off the front, as does the Derette. But our filters are right here, easy to get at. Down here, our petrol filter or diesel filters just in here. The dipstick is over here on this side. It's easy to get at. I can just grab it. We've got our air filter right here. It's all just laid out. When we come around to do the engine oil filter, there's a service panel here. We can just open that up and straight into the service oil filter there. There's no reaching around, there's no wrecking your shoulder, none of that. It's good. So you can see here the nameplate. It's bolted on. It's nicely made. It's well thought out, and again, everything's bolted on, even on the fuel here. So this has been laser cut, welded on. You can get straight at your radiator. The radiator is huge. It's a nice big aluminium. It's got to be a 6 or an 8 core radiator. We can fill our water here. So if you had a radiator failure here, we can just take this panel off and we can access that radiator without any trouble at all. In comparison to the Derette, right, our nameplate's just a sticker. It's not even printed on straight. They have bolted on the name tag here, but most of the time it's just stickers. When we look under here, not a lot of consideration into the radiator. I'm not sure if that's, I assume that's aluminium, but as you can see, it's at least a single core more. But replacing that radiator or servicing that radiator requires a large amount of dismantling. Even cleaning the radiator. So, you know, like if you want to get in there and actually clean it out, yeah, it's going to be a lot more difficult. The radiator overflow is down in here. It's very hard to get at. So that's hard to check, and I imagine a lot of people probably don't even bother to check it. The oil filter is in here. The new models do have a cover to go over it, but regardless, you can't access it through here to remove it. Under the bonnet, there's the use of just standard steel here. It's just you know, exhaust metal. And the exhaust jacket, we know these burn out in a couple of years. Look, we've already got some stitching going, right? And that's, if you touch this, it's going to disintegrate. The hydraulic tank, which I'll get to a bit later about its placement, might be actually a better idea. The screen is down under there, and it's quite difficult. There's another video of mine on there showing you how to get that out, and it's kind of a bit of yoga. The dipstick is down over here. It's in a horrendous spot, and you're not going to be doing that if that's hot. You're going to have to do it cold. It's down in there. It's actually probably almost risky. The air filter is still reasonably well to get at. The battery, well, you're going to have to remove the air filter. Not a big deal. Serviceability is probably a bit of a killer here. Now, use of materials. So today we're just going to do something a little bit different. We're going to just crack open our little metal tester. So on our boom, I think somewhere in here, the metals actually are very similar. Just place that there. Oops. All right. So we've got a 283 result, 285 there. We come over here, let me get that up there where you can see it. $324. Higher the number, the higher the grade the steel. Now that's in the arms. The same thing for on the chassis over here. What happened there? Oh. Okay, we've got 243 there. $361. So as you can see, they've used a slightly higher grade metal in the construction of this device here, in this machine here. Just put that over there. Now the improved build quality is represented in the price point. This is the very basic entry-level machine. It's the very first ones. And I'll get more into the different models that are available. This machine is considerably cheaper, so it's kind of what suits you and your budget. Layout. So the layout and the engine, the operator's station is a little bit more thought out on the VMENG. It is considerably higher, and you do have a considerably better view over the front. However, that height might actually come at a cost of some stability in, extreme conditions. So this layout here, these grab rails, they're just really well thought out, right? This here, your arm is at the perfect angle, there's strength, right? You have a really solid grip, and they're just natural, ready to grab. Your hands sit up here and they access the tops of these. This padding and this stuff is nice. And it's kind of just logically laid out. Nice analog here. That might be a personal preference whether you like digital or not. And your throttle is forward for up and back for down. And that's about that. So I find that this, to me, is a little bit more intuitive to use, and it's kind of been thought about by somebody who probably actually operates machines at some stage. I think they've consulted with actual operators. Coming over to the Derette, another thing I'd like to point out is this is sloped in. So it actually brings you in to here. This padding I don't think is ideal. I think this padding could be improved. I personally suffer some injuries, and I'll probably modify this at some stage with a bit of a dip in here. I will say that I think the Derette has nailed this bit of nice curved padding, and it's really nice and comfortable in there. The foot stand is, geez, you know, 200 millimeters, 6 inches or something down lower, which does add to the stability that I'll get to in a little bit. This padding is nice. There's no injury here, and you are nicely tucked in. The handbrake's in the way. These grips don't offer you any strength. See my wrist? It's at a poor angle. The controls here, you're kind of sitting over, you're not in control. Your hands, it's not there. So, but you know, it's still very nice. And you're pushing from down lower, and that might give you a little bit more control, which we'll get into, which I think I mentioned with the maneuverability. It might be because you are operating it a bit lower. The digital control panel, that's a personal preference, and you can see it's just kind of different. Now, best use scenario. What machine would be best for what? Well, this is probably the king of loadout with the increased speed. This guy would definitely suit construction sites, work sites, moving materials in and out, loading, unloading with the increased speed, visibility, etc. for that. This guy would suit you grubbing around on say a smaller job site where you need to be in a more confined space. And I think this guy would probably suit forestry work a little bit better than this guy. This one has the higher flow, which you've seen from my basic tests, which probably suits using things like mulches, slashes, where you're moving and covering a lot of ground all the time. This guy has it. But if you just got to cover a short bit of ground, this guy has the advantage in maneuverability. Excellent track systems. Both of them are doing extraordinarily well with the tracks and very few derails. This is a set of tracks that has been used in for a long time in the industry and has a proven record. You can see it's a nice open design and your stuff comes out. These do pack up full of dirt. This one comes with a 200mm track, and the reason for that is because they've gone for additional speed, which you've seen in another test, and we have a considerably larger drive wheel here. Even though they share the exact same drive motors, this one is a bit faster because they've gone for a bigger wheel and a smaller track. Now, that should give you a little bit more torque on the XC versus they've compromised some pushing power or torque on the VMEG for overall speed. The track design on the XC is still pretty bloody good, and we've got a triple roller in here, and there are no troubles with this at all. This comes with a 230mm track, and then you can see here considerably smaller drive wheel, and it comes at a considerably reduced speed. Okay, so companies, sorry guys there on the video, I just had to pause for a work phone call. So companies, both machines, I'll just summarize it up here. I think both machines offer you great value for money. Neither machine could set you wrong. I think both machines are really great. This is the new flagship of Derette, and it's an outstanding machine, price, value for money, and it's going to suit almost every homeowner out there. This, I think, is probably going to suit more the contractor light worker there, especially as you go up in models. These machines have been being sold for 5-10 years under rebrands. UHI is just one of them. There's several others out there, and there's many of these machines out there with 1,000 industrial construction hours on them, and they've got a long-standing history on the work site, in the job sites, and have done very well. They're used in rentals. These are just starting to enter the rental market, and these are only just starting to be rebranded. So time will tell. Anyway, I think I'll wrap it up there. Yeah, thanks guys. Hope this helps you make a decision on what machine would best suit you. Have a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this content. And if you've got any questions, please drop them in the comments. Thanks, guys.